Still talking about teachers. University lecturers are often the last line of defense for academic standards and institutional integrity. When they issue ultimatums, it signals deep-seated grievances that threaten the foundation of higher education. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, has issued a 14-day ultimatum to the federal government over a series of demands that have remained unresolved for years. The union is calling for the implementation of agreements on funding for revitalization of public universities, earned academic allowances, proliferation of state universities, and the renegotiation of the 2009 agreement. ASUU argues that successive governments have failed to honor commitments made to improve the quality of university education in Nigeria. The union warns that failure to meet these demands within the stipulated time frame will result in industrial action, potentially disrupting academic activities across federal universities nationwide and further delaying the education of thousands of Nigerian students. Mayor, ASUU is angry. They are angry over unmet demands and are threatening to go on strike. What do you think can be done to avert another shutdown of Nigerian universities?
Again, it shows how unserious we are as a government. Because every time we keep talking about this ASUU, they will have negotiations with government, they will agree on certain things, and it will not be. So then another government will come, and it becomes a circle. We should have moved past that.
What is so difficult in implementing?
That's what I don't understand. Because you see, it's just like the teachers. When you don't pay lecturers well, that is when you will see lecturers who spend more time doing side hustle, who will go to some schools to go and lecture there, to go and do PP there. They will force students to buy handouts and all that because they are not well paid. Lecturers, then we have to do something about the universities. Instead of having universities everywhere, let us concentrate on the ones that we have and fund them well.
No, they've actually put a pause to that.
Yes, we know, but it is important that government must fund universities. University is not that it used to be. When you are in a university environment, you will know that this is a university. When I was in University of Lagos, we used to use 50 kobo to eat solid meal, jollof rice, chicken,
the era
ice
of the
cream.
chicken.
Yes, in the same Nigeria. In the same Nigeria. I enjoyed that University of Lagos.
All right, Mayor, just hold that thought. We need to pay some bills, okay? We need to go on this quick break, and when we return, the conversation continues. Don't go away. It's still Journalist Hangout. All right, still Journalist Hangout. I still have Mayor Akinpelu right here with us and BKO talking about this issue of ASUU. But the 2009 agreement, why has the renegotiated 2009 agreement remained unfulfilled despite years of talks?
First, there was the 2009 agreement. And one of the key demands was to freshen up infrastructure in the
university system.
Federal universities. And I think at that time, about 150 billion or 200 billion. So naturally, it was tough for government to meet. And instead of just incrementally releasing money to that effect and continually work on the infrastructure in those public universities, especially the first generation universities. Successive governments just took the decision to kick the can down the road. Those coming in future. But when you take over government is a continuum. You must be ready to take on the liabilities. These are liabilities, and President Tinubu has no choice. He cannot afford to behave the way past leaders behaved. Past leaders literally provoked ASUU. taking steps that showed contempt for our academics. For example, I don't know how somebody came up with the idea of forcibly enrolling university on academic staff on a payment structure that does not fit the university system. IPPIS should never have been introduced to tertiary institutions in Nigeria because it will not work. IPPIS imagines you to be one person who can only work in that university where you are. You can't work anywhere else.
Which is not done.
You can't work anywhere else. So university lecturers enjoy going on sabbatical. They become visiting professors here and there. It's part of the university system.
Yes.
When I was in the University of Illinois, we had foreigners who were teaching in our school. Especially in the modern European languages department. We had English department, we had the modern European languages. You must learn one foreign language. My father, for example, speaks French fluently because while reading for his first degree in English at the University of Ibadan, they were taught French. It was compulsory. You see a lot of Germans, they speak good English because they teach them in school like an alternative language. You know? So how do we have a situation in which you imagine that a university professor cannot work anywhere else? You now pigeonhole him with a unitary kind of payment system that ensures that whatever he does, wherever he goes, that's where he will be paid.
It's not a secondary school.
And a VC cannot even hire a gardener. And even when sometimes the IPPIS was so dysfunctional that sometimes even when they hire lecturers from another university, you are hiring a lecturer from one university to Federal University of Lokoja, for example. They may not pay him for 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 7 months. You keep writing, you will not get results. You keep writing. So there are many things frustrating these lecturers. They had to go to court. And the industrial court said, no, disenroll, you have no right to forcibly enroll people on IPPIS. The previous administration, despite seeing clearly that this thing will not work, they told them to come up with a different app. They designed UTAS, but they still wouldn't implement the decision until they went to the industrial court, and the industrial court now said, oh, no more. That came during President Obasanjo's, President Tinubu's regime. When people go on strike, like, yes, we don't want a strike, but they usually pay them once they've agreed to come back to work. President Buhari said, no, I will not pay.
No work, no pay.
I will not pay. And if people will go on strike for years, he was not bothered. I learned that the immediate past Minister of Education was crying and begging, pay this thing. Let's have industrial peace. He said no. But now President Tinubu has paid part of it. They are still asking that the remainder should be paid, along with the end academic allowances and all that. So the demands that ASUU is making, they are not new. It's not as if they've harvested a fresh bouquet of demands. No. The demands
has always been.
They are linked to the 2009 agreement. Okay, the 2009 agreement also said, let's renegotiate. Because with time, some of these things will need to change and all that. Okay, even the renegotiation, you set up committee for renegotiation. The committee comes up with its recommendations, and you will not implement. It happened with former AUC registrar, Musalin Jibri, Professor Musalin Jibri. The government set up its committee.
Yes.
It came up with recommendations. They didn't touch it. After that, the Meme Briggs, the man is dead now. came up with a fresh recommendation, salaries of professors and all that, that it makes no sense to pay professors this kind of money in this age and time. Again, it was not implemented. So President Tinubu has made it clear that he does not want students to stay one extra day in school because of strikes that they can do nothing about. So it makes sense now for the president to, on his own, look at these issues. And that's why people like Alausa, that's why they are there. Yeah, the minister. You know, they represent the president. Let them have the courage to go before the president and say, Mr. President, we don't want this strike. This strike will give us a very bad name. We have said we will not, during the campaigns, that we will not like strikes to happen. And we are looking at an ultimatum. The signs are not good because they had already earlier had the kind of... Now, this time they say, okay, warning strike. We'll do warning strike for 2 weeks. After that, a full-blown strike. It should not happen. Those demands, call them. Don't wait until the expiration of the warning strike. Exactly. Call them and say, okay, gentlemen, we know that, okay, these concerns are there. Yes. This is what we will do. This is what we will do. Meet them even at the point. It's not possible to implement everything at once. But if they see a sense of sincerity, and all, they are not unreasonable people. I'm sure that they will not go on this strike.
All right. What can be done to avert this strike? What long-term reform will you suggest?
Government should allocate more money to the educational sector, because the problem that we have still has to do with money. Increase the budget allocation? Yes, but they have to increase the budget allocation to education. The problem that we have with this ASUU is that when you have agreement with them, when it is time to meet that agreement and pay, government will come up with the fact that they don't have the money to pay. So it is important for us to look for that money. Part of the problem is that we don't consider it to be important. When you look at the budget allocated to taking care of the State House, for example, if you look at the budget allocated to presidential fleet, for example, if you look at
buying
if you look at the budget for the National Assembly, for example,
for National Assembly.
If you look at the budget for the National Assembly, for example, it's just because we believe that taking care of these lecturers is not a priority, which is a mistake. That's why I'm saying that it is important for us to take education seriously and allocate more money there, because the problem is that there's not enough money to be able to meet these demands. That's the problem. That's the problem.
All right, straight to